You weren't picked by accident. Not because you're weak. Not because you're naive. The opposite. Because you're kind. And that's exactly what a manipulator reads first. Sounds logical to assume manipulators go after the weak, people who can't fight back. Research says otherwise. What draws them in isn't weakness, it's kindness. Kindness isn't a vulnerability on its own. The vulnerability is never defending it. Canadian psychologist Angela Book showed inmates with high psychopathy scores video clips of people walking down a street. Ordinary footage, no sound, a few seconds per person. The inmates picked out, with striking accuracy, exactly who'd be easiest to victimize. Not by clothing, not by age, by gait, by body language. A predator doesn't need to talk to you to decide whether you're worth approaching. The assessment happens in seconds, before a single word is exchanged. In follow-up versions of the study, the result held even when clips were trimmed to 5 seconds, with the sound stripped out entirely. It wasn't about words or facial expressions, just how a person carries their body through space. What actually gets read isn't physical weakness, it's the language of accommodation, a lowered gaze, an apologetic posture. The instinct to step aside first when someone else isn't planning to yield. Those signals don't come from a weak person. They come from someone trained not to create conflict. Someone trained to be easy. There's another experiment that explains a lot here. In the 1960s, psychologists Jonathan Freedman and Scott Fraser knocked on doors with a tiny request. Sign a harmless petition about road safety. Almost nobody said no. 2 weeks later, they came back to the same houses with a completely different request. Put a huge, ugly billboard sign on the front lawn. People who'd agreed to the small petition said yes to the second, much more intrusive request, nearly 4 times more often than people approached with the sign cold. One small yes rewires how someone sees themselves. Not, I occasionally help out, but I'm a person who helps. And from there, they unconsciously keep confirming that identity, even as the asks get heavier. The sneaky part is that the manipulator isn't the one making that decision. You are, just based on information about yourself that was quietly planted moments earlier. Safety leaks out of you before you get a chance to say a single word. Therapist Pete Walker added a 4th response to the classic fight, flight, freeze triad. He called it fawn, the instinct to appease, accommodate, and please in response to a threat. For people raised somewhere calm dependent on their compliance, this response fires automatically, not as a choice, as a reflex. A manipulator doesn't build this reflex from scratch. He just finds someone who already has it wired in and exploits it methodically. Here's the uncomfortable part. From the outside, this looks like a virtue. Coworkers call this person reliable. Family calls them the good one. A partner calls them low maintenance compared to everyone else. Nobody calls it what it actually is. A chronic willingness to pay with yourself for someone else's comfort. And this isn't a story only about women, or only about a certain age. A man who never says no to his boss runs on the exact same wiring as a teenager his classmates treat like a personal ATM. Same mechanism, different scenery. You weren't picked because you're weak. You were picked because you're easy to negotiate with. Sounds abstract? Here are 7 situations that make it a lot more concrete. A new hire says yes to every single request from day 1. Cover a shift, take on someone else's project, stay late without asking a single question. The first week, it reads as enthusiasm. Everyone praises her team spirit in the group chat. A month later, she's carrying 3 people's workload. Not because she's the most capable, just because she's never once said no. 6 months later, she's out on medical leave for burnout, and the team's already figuring out who gets her responsibilities. Temporarily, of course. In a friend group, there's always one person everyone calls for favors. Help moving apartments, borrow the car for the weekend, watch someone's kid on zero notice. Nobody even asks if it's convenient. They just text, "You don't mind, right?" And he never minds. Out loud. Growing up, conflict in this house got solved one way. Someone had to give in first for the house to go quiet again. It was almost always the same kid. He grew up believing the world got safer the moment he agreed first. 30 years later, he still agrees first. Just now, it's at work, in his marriage, with friends who have no idea that's what's happening. He genuinely doesn't understand why he feels wrung out by the end of most days, even though nobody technically did anything wrong to him. It's just that the sum of all those small yeses adds up to more than he can carry. First date. He gently asks to change the meeting spot last minute. She agrees. It's a small thing. One coffee shop is basically the same as another. Second date. He asks her not to text her friend during dinner. Let's just make tonight ours. She agrees again because it sounds romantic, not alarming. Third date, and he's already deciding where they go, what time she gets home, and whether she should even go to her friend's birthday without him. 6 months in, the list of things she's agreed to makes her uncomfortable looking back at it. But each individual step felt too small to argue over in the moment. A manager hands overtime work to exactly one person on the team, month after month. Not the most experienced one, the least likely to push back. Everyone else knows. Say no, and you get an awkward conversation, a raised voice, a week of cold silence. Easier to just ask the one who never refuses. That one person quietly becomes the team's free insurance policy. And the longer it goes on, the more normal it looks to everyone except him. An older woman meets someone online who messages her every day, asks about her health, remembers small details from conversations a week old. Scammers who get caught and later interviewed admitted openly their favorite target isn't lonely people specifically. Their favorite target is generous people, the ones who help readily, even without fully knowing who they're helping or why. At a work event, someone from another department asks for just 5 minutes of help with a report. 5 minutes turns into 2 hours of unpaid work he quietly takes on every week because it worked once. Nobody in the office calls it exploitation. Everyone calls him just really helpful. And he spends his evenings wondering where his own work time went. So what actually helps? 1. Rehearse one simple phrase. Let me think about it. And use it before you answer yes on autopilot. That pause kills most manipulation before it even starts. It doesn't sound rude, it just interrupts the automatic reaction, the same one that gets read off you in seconds before anyone's even said hello. 2. Watch for small tests early in a relationship. That first small concession isn't nothing. It's a precedent people will quietly reference for months, sometimes years. 3. Let yourself treat no as neutral instead of cruel. A boundary isn't an attack on the other person, it's just information about where you end and someone else begins. 4. Pay attention to your own body language in tense moments. Standing tall and speaking in a steady, calm voice physically changes how people read you, including anyone sizing you up as a target before a word is even exchanged. None of this erases your kindness. This isn't about becoming cold or suspicious of everyone around you. It's about kindness no longer being the only setting you have. A kind person with boundaries is still a kind person. The only difference is they now have a choice instead of a reflex. The difference between a kind person and an easy target was never about character. It's whether there's a pause between the request and the yes. One single second decides who's actually running that conversation. Kindness was never the target. The target is the habit of agreeing before you've had a chance to think. And that's the one thing you can retrain at any age, no matter how many years you've spent being easy. Subscribe. Next week, we cover how to actually say no without wrecking the relationships that matter to you.